Good afternoon and welcome to Radio Row at Super Bowl 57. I'm your host, Kayla Brett. I'm here with my partner, Roy Kessel, and we have two very special guests. Very, very, very blessed. Matt, you and I met each other quite a while ago, and I love the work you're doing. You reached out to me, you said, Kayla, can I tell you a little bit about what I'm doing? And you started telling me, I said, let's hop on a call. And we hopped on a
Absolutely.
call and I said, "Oh my gosh, this is big. We've got to find a way to collaborate. We've got to find a way to connect." And now here you are on Radio Row for some very special stuff. Do me a favor, introduce the hooligan sitting next to you and tell us a little
Oh,
bit about why you guys are here.
absolutely. So my partner in crime here is Ian Sephton. He's one of our board members and phenomenal entrepreneur and businessman. And what we're doing here is we're just trying to spread the word about the great work that Special Forces Sports Foundation is doing, partnering athletes with kids with special needs and in inclusive sports experiences.
And this goes without saying that that's an underserved area. I know I've had Jonathan Hyder on my podcast. He's a Paralympian and he grew up around Green Bay, Wisconsin. His parents used to drive him down to about the Chicago area for practices alone because there weren't even facilities for athletes with challenges, whether that was cognitive or physical. How much has changed?
Not much has changed. It is definitely an underserved population, and we are trying to bring our programming to every major college and NFL city because we know that and part of our tagline is, and the reason we're called Special Forces Sports is that when you bring athletes and kids with special needs together, it's a force to be reckoned with, and we want to bring that all over the country in every area where there's athletes that we can partner with.
Matt, you guys have been very active now getting off the ground. I want to talk about some of the challenges. I think it's really instructive for people that want to give back and want to help to understand that startup process because it isn't easy. It's not just a snap of a finger, right? Filing the paperwork is the easy part. But talk a little bit about what you've seen here in this first stage of your growth and life cycle.
Roy, I feel like I have to butt in here just a tad because having had a tech startup and understanding how hard that is, I thought, wow, a nonprofit with a great cause would be easy. I mean, how hard is it to raise money for things like this, where you're helping special needs, you're pairing them with athletes? It just feels like the right type of movement. And how hard can it be? And it's incredibly hard. And I've never had to. I've raised capital for venture, and I understand how that process works. But the thing I can't figure out is how to raise money for a nonprofit. So we're working through those challenges. We have had a lot of success with the Super Bowl raffle that we basically did in conjunction with the Raiders that donated the tickets, and that's been successful. But we're learning and we're trying new things, and that's why we're here today is to kind of spread the word, let people know that Special Forces Sports Foundation is looking for help, and that's why we're here.
Yeah, you talk about the challenge in raising money, right? And it's the same as it is in the venture capital space. Sometimes raising $50 million is easier than raising $500,000 for a venture. And we see it every year as we work with different organizations. How many of them are like, oh, we finally got our 501c3 status, so now we're all set because now the donations are deductible and we're just going to open up the door and it's going to be like that jackpot on the slot machine and the money's just going to come running
Yeah.
right in the door. And you know that's not, you've seen that's not the way it works. It's really hard. Just look around this room and look at how many athletes are here and look at how many amazing causes we've had on the air here at Radio Row with Sports Philanthropy Network this week. And this is just one room in the basement of one convention center, and this is going on all over the country, all around the world. There are so many unbelievable causes Kayla and I talk about. every week how fortunate we are to be able to work with individuals like the two of you that have a heart and a passion for giving back. And it's hard. There's a lot of competition out there. So what do you do to set yourself apart?
Well, I think what sets us apart is, in the world of, you know, the special needs community, there's a ton of great volunteers and therapists, and what I think separates us is that we are tying in the athletes and young people with these kids, because true inclusivity is getting people in their peer groups. And we are reaching out to colleges, we are reaching out to professional players, but we have found that more so than what it gives our kids with special needs, it's really giving back to our athletes, because they're the ones that where we can see the needle move as far as the impact. Like, one of our board members is a former NFL player, and his first initial uh, event with us was one of our after school programs, and he came in like, "Hey, man, I'm really used to being the inspiration and coming and working with these kids and having them walk away with, wow, I was just with an NFL player." But when he called me back a day after our event and said, "I'm changed forever because of your event," that really made me want to hit the gas and get more guys involved with this, and more athletes involved with this, because our kids with special needs, our individuals with special needs, they are unbelievable, they're amazing, they're everything that we should be trying to be in society, which is non-judgmental, accepting, loving, and they're the true inspiration. And so we definitely want to get folks involved that are, you know, athletes, veterans, along with these kids with special needs, because really it's good for the soul, and that's really what we want to share with people.
Well, I'm going to say over and over again, representation matters. I don't care if it comes to skin color, if it comes to women in sports, if it comes to special athletes, having other special athletes who've come before them and made history. What you're doing is you're creating representation. You're setting a standard of what excellent looks like, and you're building a culture of come togetherness. Those are really important things in our society, and you found the perfect vessel to do that. We were blessed to be out in Vegas last week, got to meet with you, got to see that
Yeah,
big game that you had going on, and all of the people there
yeah,
supporting and cheering for you. What's your goal for the next year? When we sit down again at Super Bowl 58,
yeah.
what is going to have transpired in 2023?
Well, we're hoping to just get involved with more universities. We have a lot on deck. And also, we're looking to execute our first professional event with, we partnered with Robert Turbin, who was a running back with the Super Bowl winning Seattle Seahawks, and he also played with the Colts. We're looking to partner with them and get some of our professional athletes involved, because again, I think we can really move the needle and spread this around the country with that kind of influence and access.
Yeah,
So
just to kind of add to that, we started this thing local. So, like a lot of great causes, you start local and impact your local community. But what we've really seen is that there's a desire and a drive to go outside. I mean, the part of the reason we're in Colorado and Utah is because we were drawn there. It's not because it's easy for us. Logistically, California would be where our home base is, and there's plenty of schools and plenty of kids to impact there. But they've pulled us into other areas, and so I think ultimately what we want to do is figure out a way to get a recurring revenue driver to kind of support this. The management team and everyone that volunteers takes $0. Every single thing goes back into the events for the kids, for the community, and so we want to just kind of continue to build that so we can do and impact more schools, more communities, more universities, like Matt said.
And I think that that's an important point. I mean, you talk about the fundraising and where the money goes. That's always one of the first things that donors look at, right? Hop on and look at on an IRS website or, on any of the other searches that are available to look at 990s and where that money goes. I think a lot of us have seen the reports that came out about Russell Wilson's foundation and the small percentage of dollars that were supposedly going to charitable causes. I think there'll be a lot more coming out. But it's hard because it takes dollars, it takes infrastructure to run programs and do them effectively. You can twist arms, you can get people to donate their time to get something off the ground to get started, but it's not realistic for things to really scale and go nationwide and make the depth of an impact that they can on an all volunteer basis. That's virtually impossible. And so, we always advocate for what we call our constituency of sports nonprofits, because the donors and the larger foundations and grant making groups have to understand that the proverbial takes money to make money. You've got to have systems and you've got to have good people, because this is a relationship business, and the ability to go out and talk and connect and make those connections. Matt, you're amazing at that. We've seen it in just a very short amount of time, how well you've been able to go and network. And, I know when Kayla first connected with you and introduced us and we had a chance to sit down for dinner in LA, it's amazing how you feel when you sit down with people that share that vision and passion. And so, Kayla and I both feel very fortunate that we've had a chance to meet you. So, Ian, Matt, we want to thank you for coming on with us on Sports Philanthropy Network on Radio Row at Super Bowl 57. We appreciate your time. We know there's a lot of other outlets here, a lot of other great connections for you. So on behalf of Kayla, I'm Roy Kessel, your host at Sports Philanthropy Network at Radio Row, and to all our viewers and listeners, we appreciate you taking time to join us for this special broadcast. Please remember to live generously.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.